everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a review, first impression, demo, and swatches of the Jaclyn Hill palette by Morphe. But before I get into that, I did want to say a couple things. First of all, I cut all my hair off. I cut 10 inches, 8 to 10 inches, I believe 10 inches, whatever. I cut a lot off my hair. I'm so happy with it. I think it looks so neat and pretty. I love it. So that's a thing. Sometimes it gets a little messy and I look like Lord Farquaad, but what can you do? I did want to say thank you guys so much for the love and support on my Why I Got Fired from Sephora video. You know, I expected mixed comments, whatever, a really negative reaction, except from like my personal friends or whatever, but that just got such a good reaction. It has over 1,000 views and most of my videos don't even get 100 views, so that was super awesome. So thank you so much for being so understanding and kind to me over that video. I'm really grateful for that reaction. It was super awesome. Anyways, with that out of the way, let's get into a few things about this palette. I'm going to give some information, but I know a lot of people already know all this, so if you want to see where I actually get into the demo and the swatches and all that, you can skip ahead to whatever time I put on the screen. So a few things about this palette. It is the white cardboard packaging with silver font. And on the back it says Morphe by Jaclyn Hill with JH all over it. I don't know what this pink stuff is. It got all over the inside of the palette too, but it's not an eyeshadow. It's not the same color as an eyeshadow, but compared to the other Morphe palettes, this one is the 35B. This is in cardboard white packaging. This is in black plastic packaging, and the font is just completely matte. Just matte, white and red. There's nothing on the back either aside from the sticker that tells you what palette it is. I personally really like the Jaclyn Hill packaging a little bit more. I don't really have an issue with the other Morphe packaging. I just wish there was a mirror, but it's inexpensive, so whatever. This palette retails for $38.99, which compared to the other palettes like the 35B that I just showed you, those are $22.99. So it's a little bit more expensive. You are paying for Jaclyn, you're paying for the new formula, you're paying for the packaging. The other ones are still really great quality as well. Discount codes apply to this palette. It was in the works for about 2 years. Jaclyn just formulated every single individual shade. They're individually pressed. They are a new formula, all new shades. So she really put her heart and soul into this, and that's something that I can really appreciate, especially as an artist. You know, it's really awesome to see people put their heart and soul into things that they're passionate about. So yeah, I think this is a pretty interesting palette. If I'm going to be completely honest with you, I was not going to purchase this palette. I believe a few months ago, Morphe and Jaclyn Hill actually had a party regarding this palette, and they had a cake made that was this palette. And the people who made the cake posted it on Instagram and like accidentally revealed the shades. Obviously that's fondant, that's not actually the shades in a palette, so it can't really speak for the shades in the palette, but I was just kind of like, not really loving it, whatever. So I didn't actually care to buy it. I was not going to buy it as much as I love Jaclyn, and I was like, I'm sure it's going to be a beautiful palette, but this is just something that I feel like I can pass on. But then I saw her swatch video, and I saw people doing looks with it, and I was like, YouTube made me buy it. I bought it, obviously, clearly, it's here. Another thing that I really wanted to point out about this palette, there's the weird stuff that I do not know what it is. The layout of this palette is absolutely beautiful. You can go up, down, left, right in any quadrant you want. You can do it in 4s and 9s, whatever you want, and it makes a beautiful look. You know, you can do all of these, have like a really neutral everyday look. You can add some shimmers. You have the pops of color down here. You can do the chocolatey colors, a rose gold eye, rusty colored eye. You can do anything with this, and it's just laid out beautifully. You can definitely tell how well this was thought out. And yeah, I was kind of skeptical about the formulation of these shadows. I didn't actually know if you could really individually press pans, and I didn't know like if they would just reformulate or not reformulate, but create a new formula for one palette. But because I have tried several of Morphe's palettes in the past and comparing it to this one, which I am wearing today, I think that this really does feel a lot more buttery and finely milled. However, they are still very reminiscent of Morphe's shadows. They still have that very similar feel, texture, pigmentation, whatnot, but I feel like it's a little bit more soft and even in pigment in my opinion. So that's, personally, I do think that they did create a little bit of something new for this palette. All right, so I'm going to insert some swatches here. From left to right, we have In Light, Beam, Silk Cream, MFEO, Faint, Sissy, and Little Lady. Moving on to the second row, we have Creamsicle, Butter, Pooter, Pukey, Hunts, Firework, and Queen. Next row, it's Obsessed, SBN, Hillster, Roxanne, Jax, Buns, and Cranapple. Next row is Royalty, Twerk, Hustle, Meeks, 24/7, Chip, and Mocha. And the last row starts off with Pool Party, Jada, Diva, Enchanted, Central Park, Soda Pop, and Abyss. All right, so those are the swatches, but you can't really tell how it performs on the eyes by swatches, so if you want to see how I got this look and my thoughts on the palette, how it blends out, see it really in action, then keep on watching. All right, jumping right into this demo. All of my brushes are clean. I just barely cleaned them with the Cinema Secrets brush cleaner. It's amazing, but I didn't want any other product to get into it and affect how it blends or what the color looks like, so I made sure to have all clean brushes. My eyes are also primed with the Tarte Shape Tape and set with the RCMA No Color Powder. And here's the palette, right here. It's very, very beautiful. I'm trying to get like the best, most accurate lighting. It's a really awesome color selection. I'm really happy about it. I'm going to go into this shade right here. It's the third shade in the palette called Silk Cream with this fluffy Morphe blending brush. And I'm going to just kind of go all over in the crease with that. Nowhere specific because I don't want, like this is just a transition shade for the other shades to blend into. I have no idea what kind of look I'm going for, but hopefully it works out. If it doesn't, this video is not going up. This is blending out very smoothly and seamlessly. There's no harsh lines or patchiness, which I like. Also, I did want to note I didn't do my foundation, concealer, anything like that, just in case there was fallout. I know a lot of people do the eyes before the face anyways. I personally don't, but just in case there was any fallout, I didn't want it to ruin my makeup, so there's that. Something that I did want to note on this palette is I have only swatched these aside from the one shade that I just applied to my eye, but they have quite a bit of kick up. I don't know if you can see that, but especially around these dark shades, there's a lot of product outside of the pans. And that's not to say that it's fallout at all. It's just kick up. They're a little bit different. Fallout is when you apply it to the, like it's on the brush, you apply it to your eyes, and it just kind of goes everywhere. It falls under your eyes and all that. Kick up is when you dip your brush into the pan and a lot of stuff comes up off of the pan. I personally don't mind that, but I know it might bother some people, so that's something to note about this palette. Going into the shade Pooter, I love that. Going into the shade Pooter with this Urban Decay Naked Smoky brush. I actually love the brushes that come with the Urban Decay palettes. I don't know why. I'm going to tap off some of the excess on my brush just because, like I said, there's a lot of kick up with this palette. And I'm going to go with that more specifically in the crease, but still diffusing it out into that other color that we used. And I'm starting from the outer corner and working my way in so that there's a nice gradient of deeper to lighter. This shade I'm noticing is blending out just as well. I feel like it's a little bit more pigmented than Silk Cream. Is that what it's called? Yeah, Silk Cream. But it's still Very, very soft, very blendable, not patchy. I'm gonna try and use as many shades as I can from this palette, so we'll see if it ends up looking a little dirty or messy or if it ends up looking good. But I'm gonna go in with this shade Pukey because it's a pukey color. And I'm going to put that on a little bit more of a smaller blending brush, and again just doing it a little bit more precise than the last one so that they all just blend together and look really beautiful and seamless, hopefully. I might sound like a broken record, but again, this shade is just super blendable, pigmented, even. Now taking Creamsicle, I'm just going to warm up the crease a little bit. I feel like it's not as yellowy as I want it to be, so I'm gonna add that. Again, a lot of kick up with these shadows, but I personally don't mind it. There's no fallout so far. Yeah, no fallout at all on my face so far, which is really cool. I feel like it really just transformed it into a really yellowy toned eye. I think yellow and blue look really beautiful together, and I really would like to use the blues. Now going in with this reddish shade called Hunts, I'm going to put that on the outer corner of my eye as well as the inner corner, using it on this kind of flatter blending brush so you can pack it and blend it. I really love this shade, or this brush for that. I'm going to very lightly connect them, the two sides. I'm going to go back and intensify it until it's how intense I want it. It's still a very, very intense shadow, and what I'm impressed by is reds and purples and stuff like that are really hard to formulate, and this is not dry at all. It blends very, very beautifully. It packs on a lot of pigment, but still no fallout, which is really awesome to me. I'm loving this kind of grungy glam type thing. Contradictory, but it's fine. This shade, which is called Hustle, I think that one would be really, really pretty, and maybe with a little bit of Obsessed over top of it, just right in the center to give a lot of dimension to the eye and really make it pop. So going into Hustle with a Wet n Wild lid brush. I feel like this doesn't apply as blinding as its swatches, but it's still very even and still covers the lid. It's just not as reflective as when you swatch it. I feel like for whatever reason, this eye went on a lot more intense than the other eye, which is kind of weird. I don't know if it's just that there was more product or the lighting or what, but I feel like this side went on much more metallic. I'm gonna go in with this tiny little Urban Decay detail brush from the Electric palette, and then into Obsessed, this one right here. I'm going into Hunts again with this little pencil brush just to intensify it. I do think I just went and applied those metallic shades with my finger just a little bit to really brighten it up because I really wasn't getting the intensity I wanted. I didn't want to wet the brush. I don't personally like doing that, but I feel like with a brush they don't apply as well as with your finger. Jaclyn did say in her video that your fingers do work probably the best, I think is what she said, if I remember correctly. With the shimmery shade, I don't mind you know, packing it on with my finger. I find that with most shadows I have to do that anyways if I want to get it super bright and metallic, then just like a little wash of shimmer. But I mean, ultimately I think it looks really, really awesome so far. Now I'm going to go into Central Park, which is this chocolate brown shade, and I'm going to go on this small little, what do you call this? I don't even know what to call this type of brush. But I'm going to just put it on the very, very, very outer corners of my eyes, just to really deepen it and add a little bit more dimension, because y'all know I'm all about that dimension. I'm just kind of flicking upward and going barely in the crease. Going back in with this brush and more of Hunt's just to bring it back to life, because I feel like it kind of got lost with that chocolatey color. I'm just going to add a little bit over top, so I still have that dimension, but the Hunt's color really just is the primary color on the outside and not the darker shade. I feel like I want the darker shade to kind of be like an underlying tone just for the depth, but I still want the bright red. Going in with a clean blending brush now, I'm just going to really diffuse all of the edges. Alright, so far this is what I have. I'm going to do my brows, face, everything like that, and off camera, and come back and do the lower lash. Alright, that took actually my entire life. I had a little incident with my lash glue. I used the House of Lashes black lash glue because I couldn't find the clear one, and I'm not wearing any eyeliner, and it just went all up over here. I tried my hardest to get it off, so I had to like wipe it off, but it still won't come off. Touch it up over and over, and even though it's not perfect and it's still on there, this is kind of just what we're working with today. And I'm kind of pissed about that because I really was just like living for this look. Whatever. Anyways, that's my life. What else is new? I'm going to take the first shade in the palette called In Light and highlight my brow bone with that. Now I'm going to take the shade Pool Party, which is this bright teal in the bottom corner, and I'm going to pop that on the inner corner. So I'm going to take the shade Twerk right here. It is the metallic blue shade in the palette. I'm going to take a pencil brush, and I think I'm going to go into a little bit of Pukey and Roxanne, just mixing those together. I'm going to take this really fine pencil brush with that blue Twerk shade again, and I'm just going to brighten up that color. Alright, so that is it for the eye look. I have this ebony, I feel like it's supposed to be like ebony, but ebony. Probably butchering that, but great. This is the shade Frenchie. It is a mustardy kind of color. A lot of people really hate this color, and I get made fun of when I wear it, but that's okay. Alright, so ultimately I think this palette is super amazing. I think that it blends just incredible. I love the layout of this palette. I love the colors Jaclyn chose. I think there's nothing that I tried today that I didn't like, and I used how many shades? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 or 11 shades? I can't remember, but I think I used 10. I might be wrong. But I think every single one that I used I had no issues with. I'd say the only thing was that these shimmer shades that I put on the center of my lid, just applied a lot better with my finger. However, the other shimmer shades that I used, I think that they worked great with a brush as well. So really, I don't have anything negative to say about this palette. It's affordable, it's beautiful. I think Jaclyn did a really incredible job. This is super awesome. I doubt Jaclyn will ever see this, but this is absolutely beautiful. You did such a beautiful job, and I cannot wait to keep using this, create more looks with it, and I foresee it being in a favorite soon, so I guess we'll find out. I'll have to play with it some more to get the true value of the palette, I guess you could say. I'm trying to wipe it off because I don't know what the hell happened, but anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.